Attention duelists, Phoenix here, bringing you a late Master Duel Monday because it's a Wednesday. So happy Monday, Wednesday. I'm going to peel back the curtain a bit and take a drink and tell you all why this one's coming late and give you a little behind the scenes about how this sausage gets made. Not so much actually production stuff, but more about me making it. And it is currently 1:30 on a Wednesday. Normally I record these in the morning on Mondays. And this one's coming late because your boy has a couple of chemical imbalances that make it difficult to perform some tasks that others would define as easy. And your boy has been working on it. Some weeks are harder than others. But I'll never stop doing this because I'm going better than this. And some more eloquent people would write out a script, talk about struggles and all that, and never giving up. Sometimes it just sucks, and it's hard to do things. And sometimes the shit just keeps happening, and it gets harder and harder. And then something stupid will happen, and it'll get worse. But at the same time, something stupid could happen, and it'll get a lot better. And honest to God, I've just been motivating myself by listening to the opening of Ultraman, the first opening of Ultraman Nexus on repeat for like the last 3 hours. Because it really pumps me up. So that's a little update on me. But you're not here for me. Well, you're partially here for me. But mostly you're here to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm also here to narrate Yu-Gi-Oh! So we are going to collaborate and get that done. So, without further ado, it's Master Duel Monday, Wednesday. First match, we got a hero player. Don't see many of those out in the wild. And their opponent activates Spellbook of Judgment, then activates Necker Valley, sets 2 back row. During the end phase, Spellbook of Judgment lets them add Spellbook of Secrets, and pass turn. Could be a stun player. Hero player summons Shadow Mist, swings direct. Sets cross out Desnier during the main phase 2. Their opponent will Cosmic Cyclone that. And it passes. So it is hero versus stun, I'm going to call it. Stun player activates Spellbook of Secrets, adding Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Summon Prophecy. Prophecy will add Spellbook of Knowledge, which they will then activate, sending away the Prophecy, setting another back row, having drawn 2, and passing. Hero player could just keep punching. Hero player summons Denier. Denier will set Plasma on top of the deck. Swing Denier. Swing Shadow Missile. During main phase 2, they're going to link off both of their monsters for Verte Anaconda. Shadow Mist, for being sent to the graveyard, will let them add Stratos to hand. Verte will then use its effect, paying 2,000 to activate Fusion Destiny. Their opponent will use Widow Anchor to negate Verte. Actually, I want to check something real quick. That's why. Never mind. I was just curious about Widow Anchor's purpose as serving as an imperm in this context, because I don't think Duels B is playing Sky Striker. If they are, it's a weird Sky Striker list. But I was contemplating slotting into some of my decks in place of an imperm for the potential to get its secondary effect off. But the restriction of having no monsters in the main monster zone is a little eh. Hero player will set Called by the Grave, assuming that their opponent is going to play another Magician of Prophecy, I'd guess. What I would do. And pass. Dual Speed draws return, activates Maneuver Afterburners, popping Verte. This might be a Sky Striker player. Also popping their opponent's back row of Called by. Dual Speed uses Spellbook of Secrets, adding another Spellbook of Knowledge. It is Sky Striker. They summon Ray, swing. Ray uses her effect to swap out for Hayate, swing. Hayate will use her effect, send away Rose. Main phase 2, Hayate will link off into Shizuku. During the end phase, Shizuku will let them add Mobilize Engage. They slow rolled out Sky Striker versus Hero. Hero draws Honest Neos, summons Stratos, Players will attempt to use its effect, and the opponent will drop a Solemn Strike on them. And that's probably going to be the end of the hero player. All they have in hand they could use is Called By. I have to full pass to the Sky Striker player. Player uses Mobilize Engage, adds Mobilize Linkage, and lets them draw one. Moving to battle, Shizuku will swing. They'll then activate Linkage, swapping out Shizuku for Hayate. Hayate punches for game. Sky Striker beats hero. And I was wrong. That was not a stun player. We got tier elements running the full list with the Shizu and even Emerald Tortoise. Opponent will set one monster and pass. Opponent's running a 50-card deck. Here, player summons Rhino Heart, which will send away a Havness. Havness effect will activate. Duelist B activating Max C. Max C resolving. See what tier got. Havness will fuse herself off with Emerald Tortoise. That gets Tortoise back in the deck for potential to use Rainbow Bridge of Salvation if it comes up. They make Kit Kat. Kit Kat's effect will let them add Sharon. Sharon will use her effect, summoning herself, pitching Ludora, milling a few. Player then uses Polymerization, hard fusing Kit Kat, Merrily, and Havness into Guardian Chimera. Chimera's effect will activate, as will Merrily and Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos will mill 5, Merrily will trigger a fuse, Chimera will pop and draw. Opponent will chain DD Crow to the Merrily, getting her out of there. Kit Kat mill 5, Merrily whiffs, and Chimera draw 2, pops the opponent's monster, which is Edge Imp Chain. Kelbeck was sent to graveyard, so its effect will activate. The Edge Imp Chain will activate, and the player will chain Agido. Agido will summon itself, brings back Kelbeck. Edge Imp Chain lets the player add a Fright for Patchwork. Kelbeck then mills it, actually. Cards hit were Scream and Sulik. Really look up how it's pronounced. Sulik will let the player add Havness, and Scream will let them add Sulik. Moving to battle, punches with Chimera, Kelbeck, Agido, Rhino Heart, and Sharon for lethal. More than enough damage to end their opponent. The opponent was not able to step anything close to a defensive board. Tier beats, I'm going to assume branded. That's where the Edge Imps show up, because no one plays Fluffle. And they should. Fluffle's a lot of fun. If you're looking for a fairly budget real-world deck, I recommend it. Oof. Runic Pain. Opponent activates Terraforming. Terraforming to add Paralino. Activates Tier Element Scream, summoning Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart will activate and Scream will chain. Scream mill 3. Rhino Heart mill 1. Rhino Heart sent away Havness. Merrily. Merrily and Sharon will activate from the grave to fuse into Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos will activate, adding Tier Element Heartbeat. Player then activates Paralino. Paralino will let the player add Merrily. Kit Kat will use her effect, summon the Merrily from the hand, send herself away. Merrily was summoned, so her effect will activate. Kit Kalos was sent away, so her mill will activate. Mill 5. Merrily mill 3. Heartbeat was sent away. It will activate, targeting Sulik. Sharon was sent away, her effect will activate. And Sulik was sent away. Sulik let them add another Sharon. Sharon will return herself and Kit Kalos to make Rule Kalos. And Heartbeat will return Crime. Player will use the effect of the Sharon in hand, summoning herself, pitching Mudora. Mill a few. Merrily and Rhino Heart are going to link together, making Sprite Elf. They set 2 back row. And pass. I'm not one to support this degenerate style of playing Runic, but players gonna do what they have to fight against Tier Element. Starts off by activating their own Max C. The opponent will chain Sprite Elf. Elf summoning Merrily. Max C then resolves. Merrily will activate to mill, and Scream will activate to mill again. Scream mill 3. Merrily mill 3. Agita was hit, as was Calbeck. As was another Celiac. And Havness. Havness will fuse herself with Guardian Slime. It's a tech choice, but I like it. Actually making Egyptian God Slime. Celiac lets them add Havness. Calbeck will make both players mill again, and Agita will make both players mill again. Player then activates Dimensional Fissure. Opponent activates Heartbeat. Heartbeat will spin D-Fissure, getting rid of the card they had in hand, which was a Rhino Heart. Opponent activates the True Sun God to add Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode, contributing 3 of their opponent's monsters for the Sphere Mode. Then activates Owner's Seal to take back the Sphere Mode. Activates Smiting Storm, milling a bunch of cards, sets 1 back row, and passes. The opponent is milled out, but the player will use Mudora to shuffle 3 back. How did they mill out so many so quickly? Did the player just mill themselves that much with Tier Limit cards? Must have. They do still have Keldo, so they have not run out of cards yet, which is a good way to play around the Runic strategy. During the end phase, due to the cards being returned due to Tier Limit cards being returned to the deck, Paralina will activate to pop the opponent's set card of Soul Drain. Player will then use Keldo to send back even more, so less chance of milling themselves out. Runic player then activates Golden Droplet. Let them play draw 1, banish 4. They draw 1 card off the top. They start off by using Mudora, sending back 3, 2 of which were Agito. Paralina will then pop the True Sun God. Player banishes a Keldo. Puts more cards back in their deck. Sprite Elf will then use its effect, summoning Max C. Sharon will use her effect, summoning herself by pitching 1. Havness that was sent away will activate, chained by Celiac and Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart is summoned, getting rid of a card in hand. Celiac will add Merrily. Havness will trigger a fusion, fusing herself with Rook Kalos to make Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos effect will activate. Heartbeat will activate. Heartbeat adds Tier Limit Celiac to hand. Kit Kalos will let them add Havness to hand. 2 cards in deck. Then, using their opponent's Sphere Mode and a couple of their own monsters, they do make Underworld Goddess. They have lethal on board. Opponent has nothing, but they activate Titanocider from the grave to set itself. Swings Goddess, swings Rhino Heart, swings God Slime for game. Little tricky to mill out Tier Limit with Runic going second. Not impossible, but a good effort. Unfortunately, their opponent was well set up, and with some tech choices, not even really tech choices, but just actually using more of the Tier Limit back row cards, able to pull through. Hey, another Tier Limit player. Activates Tier Limit Scream. Uses Mudora's effect, pitching Kelbeck, summoning Mudora, and setting Gravekeeper's Trap. Kelbeck will then cause both players to mill. They actually set Exchange of the Spirit that was hit by the mill. Merrily was milled, so her effect will activate, fusing herself with Merrily, making Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos effect will activate. Tier Limit Scream will chain. Scream mill 3. Kit Kat, add Merrily. Opponent will use Kelbeck from the hand, targeting Kit Kalos, summoning Kelbeck, spinning Kit Kalos. Player uses Heartbeat, spinning their own set exchange. Discarding Merrily. I assume they forgot that they already used Merrily's effect and she was sent to the graveyard. They then use Gravekeeper's Trap, pitching Heartbeat to add Agito. Mudora from the grave will activate, banishing itself, spinning back 2 Kelbecks and their opponent's branded fusion. Pass turn. During their opponent's turn, they declare Branded Fusion and miss. Their opponent drew Cyframe Gear Gamma. Their opponent is playing a 60-card deck, activating Fusion Deployment. Uses Gravekeeper's Trap, pitching a Guido. Adding Kelbeck. Fusion Deployment will reveal Kaleido Heart and summon Rhino Heart. A Guido from the grave will chain. Players are going to mill. Rhino Heart specifically milling Mayor Lee. Meta Noise will activate with Havness chaining. Makes another Kit Kalos. What effect of Meta Noise? It targeted Havness, but Havness already sent herself away, so that did nothing. Whiffed their own Meta Noise. Kit Kalos on someone will activate with Tiamat Scream chaining. Mill 3. Kit Kalos adding Havness. It is still Duel State's turn. They activate Polymerization, fusing 3. Gear Gamma, Sharon, and Kelbeck. Guardian Chimera. Chimera's effect will activate. The opponent will chain Havness. Havness summons herself, mills 3. Chimera will draw 2, pop Gravekeeper's Trap. The opponent had Kelbeck sent away, so both players mill. Resetting Gravekeeper's Trap. Marilee was sent away. Her effect will activate. Mudora will chain to banish. Sorry, to spin, banishing itself. Marilee is stopped. Despian Tragedy was sent away. Will banish itself to target Branded Fusion, send it back. The opponent will use Keldo to spin those back on its own. Player then normal summons a Mudora. Guardian Chimera will swing over Kit Kalos. And they do not have any bigger bodies, so they'll be forced to pass. They could have gone for Abyss Dweller. Don't know if they have it, but I would have tried to go for it. Duel's B uses Gravekeeper's Trap, pitches a card to add Mudora. Card they pitched was Kelbeck. Kelbeck will mill. Killement Crime will be reset. Marilee will activate. Mudora will chain to spin and thus negate. Or prevent, rather. Duelist A then activates Celiac. Duelist B's Mudora will chain. Havness will chain to Mudora. Mudora summons herself, mills 3. Sorry, Havness summon mill 3. Mudora spins. Celiac whiffs. Killement Scream will activate to mill. Sharon was milled, so her effect will activate. Tragedy will activate because it was sent away. Tragedy adding Aluber. Sharon will fuse. Fuse 3, making Kaleido Heart. Scream then mills. Agita will activate with Keldo chaining, targeting Gravekeeper's Trap. Agita spins a few. Duelist B's Sharon was hit. Duelist A's Marilee will chain. Duelist B's Keldo will chain, spinning back the Marilee and 2 of their own. So Sharon will resolve, causing a fusion of herself, Kit Kalos, and Rhino Heart, making their own Kaleido Heart. Squidman's going wild. Squidman B will spin Squidman A, and then due to time limit, I assume because players were trying to figure out what order to resolve things in, Duelist B loses. I do firmly believe that anyone who says something along the lines of Tiamat providing an engaging game state, talking out their ass. It's engaging in the sense of you're doing a lot. Player activates opening the Spirit Gates. It's adding the card will be stopped by Ash Blossom, but Ash Blossom will be stopped by Called By, so the Spirit Gates are going to swing wide. Opening the Spirit Gates is just another way to get a level 2 Dark Beckoning Beast, which enables Sprite to go off. There's the Dark Beckoning Beast. Beckoning Beast is summoned. It will let the player add another opening of the Spirit Gates. Special summon Sprite Blue. Blue will add red. Duelist A now using Max C. Should have done that sooner. Duelist B, special summoning a red and passing, not taking the challenge. Duelist A's turn, activates Terraforming, adds Floanderies and the Magnificent Map. Activates the map, uses the map, revealing their Eaglin. Eaglin will send away Rabina, summons Eaglin. Eaglin's effect will activate, with Rabina's effect activating. Sprite red chaining to Rabina. Rabina does not get added back. Eaglin then adds M-Pen. And then the player will summon a Stree. Stree will target the Beckoning Beast, banish it, and then do the summon for M-Pen. Stree's effect and Eaglin's will activate from the banished, and M-Pen's on summon also activate as chain 1. The birdie birds go back to hand. Itty bitty birdies. And M-Pen will add Floanderies and the Advent of Adventure. Player then summons Eaglin again, activates Advent of Adventure. Adventure will let them add Rabina. They then summon Rabina. Rabina will add Toucan. Summon Toucan. Toucan will target the banished M-Pen, add it back to hand. Then resummon M-Pen. M-Pen's effect activates again. M-Pen is not a once per turn. Horrifying to learn that. M-Pen's effect will activate, as will Toucan. Toucan goes back to hand. I'm going to call it the bird it is. M-Pen will then add a Dreaming Town. Then tributes to summon Ryza the Mega Monarch, target Sprite Blue and the called by, spins them both back. Ryza then swings over the red. Rabina goes direct. Sets one back row, which is Dreaming Town. And passes. Sprite player's turn. Activates their second Spirit Gate, adding another Beckoning Beast. Summon the Beast. This will trigger the map, allowing the blue player to play Eaglin. Beckoning Beast then adds Chaos Core. Eaglin will summon, so its effect will activate. Rabina's in the banished will activate. Rabina gets added back to hand. Eaglin will add another M-Pen. Tributes 2 to summon M-Pen. M-Pen's effect will activate. M-Pen's effect will activate. Eaglin's effect will activate to add itself back. Called by will chain, targeting the M-Pen that is already in the grave to banish it and negate the one activating on field. Eaglin is added back. M-Pen is negated by a called by. Player then summons Sprite Jet. Jet's effect will attempt to activate. Dreaming Town will chain. Dreaming Town lets the player summon Stree. Jet will add Smashers. Stree was summoned, so it will target Sprite Red in the graveyard. Sprite Smashers will chain, banishing Sprite Red. Banishing then Jet and the Magnificent Map. Beckoning Beast will use its effect to summon Chaos Core. Allow the summoning of additional monster. Beckoning Beast will then link off into Almirage. Almirage will tribute itself, target Chaos Core. Card activate that targeted Chaos Core, so Chaos Core will activate. Sending away Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames. And Hamon. Player then uses Opening the Spirit Gates to discard Revile to resummon the Dark Beckoning Beast. Chaos Core and Beckoning Beast will then turn into Verte Anaconda. Is he gonna summon Armitile? He pays 2,000 life points to use Dimension Fusion Destruction, fusing together the 3 Sacred Beasts to summon Armitile the Chaos Phantasm. With 10,000 attack points, swings into Stree, and by actually playing the Sacred Beasts, Blue lost. That was an upset, but I'm not upset. This looks like Runic, Sprite, Melfi. Run a couple of things here. Player activates Freezing Curse. Freezing Curse will summon Hugin. Baby Bird. Hugin's effect will activate Pitch and Called by adding Runic Fountain. Summons Capshell. Capshell and Hugin will overlay into Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprite will use its effect, detaching the unit to summon Ipira. Ipira lets them draw. Player then activates Runic Fountain, activating Flashing Fire, summoning a new Hugin. This will trigger Runic Fountain, spinning back their 2 Runic cards, drawing 2, special summoning Sprite Jet. Sprite Jet will add Sprite Smashers. Activate Sprite Starters they were lucky enough to draw, to summon Sprite Blue. Sprite Blue will add Sprite Red. Epira and Hugin will then link together for Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf will use her effect, summon back Capshell. I'm assuming it's gender. Capshell and Jet will then make Melfi of the Forest. They will detach the Capshell to add a Melfi Caddy. Capshell was detached, so it will let the player draw a card. Sprite Blue, player summons Sprite Red. Sprite Red and Sprite Blue will then make IP Masquerena. During the end phase, Caddy will summon itself. Passes turn. Not a bad board. Duelist B's turn activates Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Player uses IP Masquerena's effect. Chains Sprite Elf. Targeting Capshell. Duelist B will activate Max C. Unfortunately, they just drew that. Sprite Elf will summon Capshell. IP Masquerena will link off itself and Sprite Elf. For Avramax. I think Kaiju Slumber is still going to get rid of that. Nope, I'm wrong. Sprite player gets a Godarla. Duelist B gets Dogoron. Summons Alpha, the... What's your stupid name? Alpha, the Master of Beasts. Uses its effect to bounce back itself and Avramax. Then summons Schwarzschild Limit Dragon, because the opponent controls a monster with 2,000 or more attack. He has 2 level 8s on board. Overlays them both for Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Moves to battle. Tachyon will use its effect, detaching a unit. Swings into Godarla. Main phase 2, Galaxy Eyes will turn to Cypher Blade Dragon. Why'd you detach a unit from Galaxy Eyes Tachyon? There was no point to that. You negated the effects of all the face-up monsters on the field, but Godarla wasn't going to do anything. It was the only other monster left. Attack defense were already its original. It does make sense during the battle phase because they activate this effect. If their opponent would have resolved a card, it would have gained more attack points and made an additional attack. So I guess they prevented their opponent from using Smashers, but they couldn't have used it anyway. But they didn't know what their opponent had, so I guess they're playing it safe. Anyway, they made Cypher Blade Dragon. Blade Dragon will activate its effect, detaching unit, popping the Runic Fountain. Passing turn. I was really expecting a Numeron Dragon wipeout. Duelist A summons Ipira. Ipira lets them draw 1, which is Sprite Blue, lucky draw. Special out Blue, which will add Jet. Special out Jet, which will add Starter. Ipira and Jet will overlay to make a second Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Sprite will use its effect, detach a unit to summon another Jet. The new Jet and Blue will make a new Sprite Elf. Sprite Elf will use its effect, target Capshell, summon it back, activate Sprite Starter. Starter summons another Blue. Blue and Capshell will make Onibimaru Soul Sweeper. Soul Sweeper will detach a unit, banish the Galaxy Eyes Xyz for the turn. Capshell will activate to let the player draw a card. Specials out Sprite Carrot. Due to the effect of the runic cards in the last turn, the battle phase is skipped. Duelist B's turn uses a Gamma Seal in hand, tributing Sprite Elf. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber will banish itself from the graveyard to let the player add Dogoron. Specials out Dogoron. Summon back Alpha. Player uses Sprite Smashers, banishing Sprite Starter, and Onibimaru to get rid of Alpha. Player then summons Smoke Mosquito, which will mimic the level of Dogoron, make it an 8. Now he summons Draglubion. Draglubion will detach a unit, summon Numeron Dragon. Numeron Dragon will detach a unit, gain a lot of attack points, going up to 11,000. Swings over Sprite Carrot for 10,000 flat, and game. Adamantipator with Vernal Sylph. I like Vernal Sylph. Uses the effect of Vernal Sylph Funny Duckling, pitching itself in Block Dragon, adding a Blooming Fields, summon the Funny Duckling. Blooming Fields uses its effect, pitching itself and Adamantipator Researcher. Adding Vernal Sylph of the Awakening Forests, summons back the Flourishing Hills, uses Forest, pitching itself in Researcher. Summoning back the Awakening, sent away a Revival Golem. Revival Golem's own effect will summon it to the field. Revival Golem and the Awakening will make Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite will detach a unit. Add Kwakemera Supplier. Supplier and Vernal Sylph Funny Duckling will then link together. Make Geonator Transverser. What in God's name are you doing with that? Activate the effect of Kwakemera Supplier, summoning itself. Adds Kwakemera Guardian. Rock monsters are banished to summon Block Dragon. Block Dragon and Transverser are going to link together. Make Ra-10 the Heavenly General. Block Dragon will let the player add Adamantipator Seeker, another Adamantipator Researcher, and Fossil Dragon Pachycephalo. Researcher will activate, summoning herself. Use her effect to excavate. Does get a hit. Summons the Hidden Gem. Hidden Gem, Researcher, and the Supplier will make Risen Dragite. Use the effect of Seeker, summon itself. Seeker will excavate. Plenty of hits to choose from. Choose to summon Xenoguitar. Xenoguitar, Seeker, and Flourishing Hills will then all sync together. Make Baron de Fleur. Xenoguitar's effect will activate, target Researcher, add her back to hand, then put her on top of the deck. Summons Kwakemera Guardian, banishes more, summon back Block Dragon. During the end phase, Kwakemera Guardian will reveal Fossil Diny Pachycephalo. Pass turn. During the opponent's standby phase, they will target the Risen Dragite, which lets them summon the Fossil Diny Pachycephalo, and neither player can special summon anymore. But with a full-on 6 monsters on board, it doesn't really matter to Duelist A. And Duelist B has to play through... They do have a water monster in their graveyard, thanks to Cardor Hin. So they have to play through a Spell and Trap negation and an Omni negation. Let's see what they got. Activates Fright for Patchwork, adding Polymerization and Edge Imp Chain. Summons the Edge Imp Chain, moves to battle. At the start of the battle phase, Ra-10 will pop the Edge Imp. Fright for Patchwork is added by the Edge Imp's effect. During the end of the battle phase, activates Evenly Matched. Risen Dragite will negate that. Even 2 evenly matches wouldn't be enough to get through this. Sets 4 back row, I assume for a fake out of I'm big, and passes. Duelist A's turn. Risen Dragite will activate its effect. Two hits, 2 cards are spun back. Uses Baron to pop the middle card. Moves to battle. Ra-10 will activate to pop the other set card. Swings with Ra-10. Swings Pachycephalo. Swing Dragite. And swing Baron for game. A uninterrupted, perfectly set up Adamantipator Vernal Sylph board. Hero player uses the effect of Crosskeeper, pitching itself. The opponent will chain Max C. Max C resolves, Crosskeeper will resolve, summoning Aqua Dolphin. Aqua Dolphin will pitch Shadow Mist, look at the opponent's hand. All the opponent's monsters are bigger than them, so Hero player will take the damage. Shadow Mist will add Vion, summons Vion. Vion's effect will be stopped by Imperm. Or it would be, if were it not for this mask change, swapping out Vion for a Darklaw. Imperm whiffs, Vion sends away Malicious. Darklaw's effect will activate because the opponent drew a card, pitch it. Malicious will activate, banishing itself, summon another Malicious. Malicious and Aqua Dolphin will then link together for a Cross Crusader. They set 1 card and pass. Their opponent is on Sword Soul. Player activates Imperm, targeting Darklaw. Activates the effect of Ashuna. Mask Change will activate. Parting Cross Crusader. The mighty Double Dark Law. No one expects the second one. Ashuna summons itself. Summons Adhara. The two will then sync together for a Boxia. Boxia will activate, spinning away both Dark Laws. Hero player is completely out of gas. Sword Soul player uses Sword Soul Emergence, adding Taya. Activates the effect of Long Wand, pitching Taya. Long Wand is summoned, as is a token. Sync the two together. Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying. Long Wand will burn for 1200. They set a card, Boxia uses effect, popping their own set card, summon back Taya. Taya will banish the card that was just popped, summon a token. The card that was banished was Blackout, so we'll summon another token. Taya and token then sync together, make Chishao. Chishao's effect will activate to add a card. Taya's effect will activate to send a card. Chishao adds Moye, you're just flexing on him. Banishes the Ashuna in their graveyard, activating its effect, which summons out Shatana. Shatana and the other token will then sync together for Draco Berserker. Stop, he's already dead. Moves to battle, swing Cheng Ying, swing Draco Berserker, and game. Sword Soul beat Hero. Blue running D-Fissure, and evenly matched. You're disgusting. Activates D-Fissure. Opponent activates Dimension Shifter. I guess. Sure. Blue player sets 2 cards and passes. Setting evenly matched is a choice. Opponent summons Fairy Tail Luna. Luna adds Fairy Tail Luna. Gizmek Orochi will activate, banishing a few to summon itself. Sage de Fleur will target Luna and the opponent's set evenly matched. Pop Luna and evenly matched. Sage de Fleur and Gizmek Orochi are going to overlay for Draglubion. Draglubion will detach a unit, summon the Numeron Dragon. Numeron Dragon, detach a unit, gain stats. Swing! Game. You deserve that for opening up with a D shifter and evenly matched. Another tier player. Time for me to get names mixed up. Summons Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart will send away Havness. Havness will activate. Opponent chains DD Crow, targeting Havness. Havness will not be resolving. Bye, Havness. Sharon will activate, summoning herself, pitching Mudora, milling a few. Merrily was hit, so she'll mill off. Her effect will activate to... She mills on summon. On being milled herself, triggers a fusion by spinning. Making Kit Kat. Kit Kat will attempt to activate, will be hit by Imperm. Duel's B is out here fighting for their life. Kit Kat is negated. Duelist A passes. Duelist B's turn. Duelist A activating Max C right out the gate. Duelist B moves to battle. Activates evenly matched, so their opponent banishes 1. Then activates their own Tier Element Scream, summoning Rhino Heart. Scream Chainlink 1, Rhino Heart Chainlink 2. Rhino Heart sending away Mayor Lee. Scream milling a few. Mayor Lee and Sharon will activate. Duelist A will chain Mudora. Spinning those 2 cards away and their own Paralino. Sharon and Mayor Lee both whiff. Player just has Rhino Heart and Scream on board. Duelist A draws triple attack. Moves right to battle. Kit Kat swings over Rhino Heart. And passes. Are they both out of gas? Nope. Duelist B summons Mayor Lee. Scream will trigger, as will Mayor Lee. Let's mill. Mills 3. Mills 3. Salik will activate, chained by Sharon. Duelist A will activate DD Crow, targeting Sharon. Sharon is banished and will whiff. Celiac will let them add a Sharon. Then use the effect of Sharon in hand, summoning her by pitching Mudora, milling a few. Moving to battle, Sharon will crash into Kit Kalos, and Merrily will go direct. Duelist B passes. Duelist A's turn. It's Havness. They could have summoned Havness and punched over Merrily. Kieran players don't remember how to play the game. Passes turn to Duelist B. Sets one, swings Merrily, pass. Alright, the would have triggered Scream. Maybe I don't know how to play the game. Duelist A, full passes. Duelist B, shotguns a Max C. Alright, Duelist A, shotguns a Max C. Duelist B, summons Mudora. Scream will mill, no hits. Merrily and Mudora swing. During the main phase 2, they'll activate their own Mudora, spinning back their own Paralino and 2 of the opponent's cards. Duelist A's turn, draws a Mudora. Summons Mudora, which will trigger their opponent's Scream. No hits. Mudora will swing at Merrily. Player activates Celiac, getting rid of their own Merrily. Mudora will then send itself away to spin. It is negated. Merrili's effect will activate, fusing herself with Rhinoheart, making Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos will let the player add a card. Havness will chain, special summoning herself and milling. Kit Kat add Rhino. Havness did mill Crime. Crime will let the player add a card back. Passes to Duelist B. Duelist B, summon Rhinoheart, trigger Scream. Mill a few, no hits. Rhinoheart will swing over Havness. Kit Kat go direct. Mudora go direct. Duelist A down to 300. Main phase 2, Mudora and Rhinoheart. Make Abyss Dweller. Pass turn. Duelist A draws. During the draw phase, Abyss Dweller activates effect. Havness will chain to Abyss Dweller. Havness on board, does mill. Abyss Dweller's effect then activates. Scream will then activate as a new chain, chained by Kelbeck. Kelbeck targeting Havness. Kelbeck summons self, bounce Havness. Scream mill 3. Gets a hit on Heartbeat. Targets Crime, adding Crime back. Duelist A activates Scream, their own Scream, summons Havness. That triggers Scream, mills a few. Doesn't matter if they hit or not, because Abyss Dweller's effect is still in play. Swings over the Kelbeck, and passes. I've got damage on board. Opponent moves right to battle, swings with Kit Kat over Havness. I think the only thing more frustrating about watching a tier limit mirror where they're just popping off is one where neither of them does anything. It's just kind of sad, really. But we watch it anyway. Because when tier loses, we all win. Speaking of tier, here's another one. Oh, here's 2 more. Player summons Rhinoheart. Rhinoheart stopped by Imperm. Duelist A sets a back row and passes. Duelist B drawing their own Rhinoheart. Activates Tier Limit Scream. Summons Rhinoheart. Both effects will activate. Scream mill 3. Rhinoheart mill 1. Sharon. Havness was milled, so her effect will activate. Max C will chain. Havness fuses herself with Sharon. Crafting a Kit Kat. Kit Kat will activate. Duelist A will activate Chillant Celiac. Celiac will get rid of their Rhinoheart, negating Kit Kalos. Player sets 1, swings Rhinoheart, swings Kit Kalos, and passes. Duelist A's turn. Sets one back row, one monster, pass. Duelist B draws a second Tearlament Scream, summons Fairy Tale Snow. This summon will trigger Scream. Scream mills out, gets a hit. Sharon and DD Crow will fuse themselves, make Mudragon of the Swamp. Rhino Heart and Snow will overlay, making Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller will detach Snow, prevent their opponent from using grave effects. Swings with Kick Callus over their opponent's monster, goes direct with Abyss, and direct with Mudragon. Tearlament beats Tearlament. Oof. This person had a bad day. Summons Barrier Statue of the Inferno, sets Soul Drain and pass. Opponent activates Allure of Darkness, draws 2, banishes D-Shifter, summons Dark Lord's Nurse, who swings over the Barrier Statue, activates Banishment of the Dark Lords, adding Ixchel. Ixchel will activate her effect, triggering herself and another. Soul Drain will chain to negate. Ixchel does get to draw, but no cards can activate in the graveyard. Play activates Into the Void. Draws 1, sets 5, activates Carved Demise, drawing 3. Activate Upstart. Thanks to Nurse. Nothing will happen. After using Card Demise, the opponent takes no damage, so Nurse is not burning. Law of Duality after 2 Upstarts. Adds Allure of Darkness. Keeps activating cards. Banishes another Nurse. Thanks Into the Void during the end, and Card Demise, they have to banish their hand. During the opponent's draw phase, activates Try and Guess, declaring XZs. Activates another Try and Guess, declaring XZs. Activates a Bad Direction to Samochi. Try and Guess burns some more. Activates Trap Trick, sending away Paths of Destiny, setting a Path of Destiny. Activating Path, which thanks to Nurse, no matter what, you're taking 2,000. Nurse Burn versus Stun Suffering. Nurse Burn wins. Well, that's a funny match to end off on, so that's what I'm going to do. Thank you for watching this video. Cut stream, thanks for watching. Catch and replay, thanks for that too. And if you actually stuck through my bit of venting in the first minute or so, thanks for that. And, I don't know. All of you out there, take care of yourselves too. It's important. Bye.